This is my Winnerwell Nomad wood burning stove. I'm doing the initial burn-in of the stove, and what I'm going to do in this video is give you a tour of the stove, show you what it comes with, and some of the accessories I purchased with it. So let's have a look at the Winnerwell Nomad stove. That is my brand new Winnerwell Nomad large wood burning stove. The entire stove, along with the majority of its accessories, are in that carrying bag. All right, let's have a look at the stove and its all its parts. I have some Winnerwell gloves here. They give me protection against the heat. Or Winnerwell mat that you would normally put the stove on, but I won't worry about that because I'm placing the stove on this concrete pad. The legs are folded underneath. Just open them up like that. And there we go. Now what's nice is you can carry the stove if you didn't have it in the case, or when you take it out of the case, you can carry it by the folding shelves. All of the pipes, so the chimney, or the flue I guess it's called, is all inside of the stove itself. That's the entire stove. Now, inside one of these pipes here, I've got a brush. So to clean the flue, whenever it's required, you can clean all the pipes out with that. So inside of one of these pipes, we also have the fire arrestor. That's on the very top of the chimney. I should mention what comes with the stove as well is this tool here. It's used for two things. You can either use it to move around the wood inside, also to pull out the ashes and so forth when you're cleaning it. And it's also used to lift up this cover here, where it gives you a direct access to the stove itself. You can either drop wood in there through that hole if you don't want to open the front door, or if you want direct fire to your pan when you're cooking, you can take that lid off. All right, let's just keep putting this thing together. So the first thing that will go on is the secondary combustion chamber. I'm going to place this, and I'll show you later what the triple wall heat protection chimney is all about. But I think for now, I'm just going to place it on top here. And I don't think we need all the pipes because I'm not running this through a tent right now. Now normally this, the triple wall heat protection chimney, would be running through your tent. Now I also have the Winnerwell large water tank. The large water tank can be hooked up on the side of the stove. Or if you didn't have the secondary combustion chamber, this would sit right up against the pipe and on top of the stove, and then that would boil the water. Now in this case, this can also be used as a secondary cooking area. So I think I can probably place this up here to boil the water. If not, I would just place it down here, boil up the water, and remove the water tank, and then place it on the side. And what that does, it will keep the water warm. To what degree exactly, if it's really warm or really hot, I'm not sure when it's on the side, but I guess I'll find out through a little bit of testing today. All right, I decided to take off the triple wall heat protection chimney here because it's not really being supported there. There are some little clips here that you can tie a string to support the flue itself. So, you know, if the wind picks up or anything, it won't blow over. But with the triple wall heat protection chimney and it not going through the tent, it's not supported, and it's got a fair bit of weight to it. So really what it's supposed to go through is this. I've got this flashing kit here, and the heat protector chimney goes through it. You can see they've got some wing nuts here. This is what actually connects to the tent. You push through the heat protector chimney, and that then is fastened to your tent, and then when you run everything through, that then gives some support to the flue itself, to the chimney, to the pipes here. So I'm going to take that off because it is a fair bit of weight and it really doesn't need to be on it right now. So that's what this would look like. This is a silicone type of material. So yeah, it has some protection against heat and so forth. The heat protector chimney, it's a triple wall, and what that does is make sure that there's no direct contact between the flue pipe and the flashing kit. Although it can take quite a bit of heat, but just the same, we don't want to damage it for no reason. So it should be used with a triple wall heat protector chimney. Let's look at the stove a little closer. So, as I said, this is a Winnerwell Nomad. It's the large model. You can get them in small and medium. On this one here, I have the secondary combustion chamber. That's this piece right up here. And what that does is that improves heat efficiency, the production of heat. It also has the stove burning cleaner. There's less smoke and less embers, fewer embers and sparks going through the flue and out through the spark arrestor up there. So that secondary chamber there, combustion chamber, does not come with the stove. That's extra. So what comes with the stove? Well, you get 4 pipes. I only have 3 of the pipes on here, along with the spark arrestor. So there's 1 pipe, 2 pipe, 3, and then the next one here, that is the airflow controller. This pipe here has the airflow controller in there. And the folding shelves, of course, come with it on both sides. They hold quite a bit of weight. You get an ash scraper. As I mentioned before, it also is used to turn the lid and to remove it. That allows you to get direct flame or heat to your pan or pot that you may have up there cooking some food. I should mention that this is basically a secondary burning surface as well, okay, on the secondary combustion chamber. The stove also has a grate in there. That grate is removable, and with the scraper you can get in there. Because you have the grate, you can get in there and then pull all the ashes out, which is really nice. Really nice handle on here as well. And from what I understand, you can touch it with your bare hands. It doesn't get all that hot, and that's because of its design. Then here's the airflow. Also, this is also used to control airflow. You have 3 settings. That's closed completely. A medium setting, I guess you can call it, and that would be all the way open using the settings. Of course, you can open it all the way that way as well to get more airflow in there and getting that fire going. Probably really comes in handy when you first starting up the stove. Very nicely constructed, all stainless steel. Now, I also have on here the Winnerwell hot water tank. It can be placed on the stove. So you see that cutout there, that would go right up against the flue or the pipe. And then that'll allow you to boil the water, from what I understand, when you have it on top of the stove. And then you can place it on the side to keep the water constantly warm / hot. And there's the spigot, so it's always ready for use, that water, for tea or for instant coffee or maybe for washing. Okay, so that's a quick look at the Nomad. Now I'm going to get it fired up and get its initial burn, so to break in the stove. All right, what I'm going to be starting the fire with is I'm using one of these mini log fire starters by Extra Flame, it's called. So that's what I'll be using to start the fire. I've got some wood here, not a lot, but hopefully it's enough to break in the stove. It's quite deep, so you can get, I think it's 18 inches. You can get a piece of wood in there that's 18 inches long. Nice size window, so you can actually see the fire going. See it get started. Yeah, that's good. It's that fire starter, mini log fire starter, seems to be doing a really good job in there. Yeah, I'm pretty excited here. The initial burn. I understand that after the first initial burn, you're going to see that color of the stainless steel change. Okay, I'm going to close this up a little bit here. Yeah, it looks like it's doing well. You can see smoke coming out the chimney right now. Now, as I mentioned, I've got the secondary combustion chamber. I've got it turned off because initially when you first start up the stove, it's supposed to be off. And only once the stove is burning for about 15-20 minutes do you turn it on. You want a good fire going before you turn on the secondary combustion chamber. Give you a look through the window. Look at that nice fire. I think I'm going to put a few more pieces in there. Really get it going. Here, open it up for you. Have a look in there. You can get these stoves now with side windows. Mine doesn't have the side window, and I also understand that you can get some with, might be a different make actually, windows on both sides. I don't think the Winnerwells actually come with windows on both sides. It's only one side. And by the way, you can only hang the hot water tank on one side, so on the left side as you're looking at this stove. I don't have a lot of wood in there, but it's burning quite nicely. Now let's just check the temperature. 253 right now with that little bit of wood. I'll show you how the color is changing. You may be able to see that just on the top here, sort of looking like a bronze type of color. So it's starting to change already. Or maybe there you can see it a little better. Yeah, that handle is definitely cool to the touch. Now I just checked the hot water tank and have a look here. I opened it up and I could see steam coming out. So it's warming up all right. There we go. Close that. We'll see just how hot that water gets. Now, what they recommend you do is you're supposed to fill the tank up 4 times, boil water and run it through the spigot, and do that 3 to 4 times before you actually use it. So that's what I'll be doing. So this is the first time I'm boiling water. I'll do that likely 2 more, if not 3 more times, and drain the tank through the spigot, and then it should be ready for use. That fire is going really nicely. So the optimum heat range of the stove is between 400 and 700. So it looks like it's somewhere around 548, 550, let's say, right now. And there's not a lot of wood in there, and that thing is burning beautifully and putting out some really nice heat. I definitely feel it on the outside here. I'm just in my backyard right now because, as I mentioned, this is the initial burn-in of my Nomad stove. The stove is changing color already, as Winnerwell states it will when you do the initial burn. All right, I think it's about time to turn on the secondary combustion chamber. So I'm going to turn that on. So right down here, you can see it says on and off. It's off right now, and I'm going to turn it on. Now that I've turned it on, the secondary combustion chamber, we'll see what kind of a difference that makes in terms of heat. Obviously, I mean, I am outside. I'm not inside a tent, so it'll be a little hard to judge. But ooh, man, I can really feel the heat coming off of that, actually. Because now it's on, so now it will be working. Now everything will be going through that secondary combustion chamber, and that'll make it even more heat efficient, the stove. and it'll reduce the smoke and the spark or embers that actually come out through the arrestor, spark arrestor. Let's check the temperature of the secondary combustion chamber. So about 365. Stove itself. Oh, air, wow. I'm going to say it's somewhere near 600. I guess this thing doesn't go any higher than 600. So the optimum range is between 400 and 700 Fahrenheit. This is my small cook box. I take this with me whenever I go out into the bush with my sled, and by sled I mean my toboggan, pulling that behind me. Got everything I need to cook. I thought I'd make some hot water on top of that secondary combustion chamber. Make some tea. Got everything in here that I need. Hot chocolate, tea, coffee, sugar, spoon or a spork, along with a cup. Inside, tea and so forth. So I try to make best use of space so I can get as much as I can into this little box. So that filled the coffee pot up about halfway, that canteen. I think it's peppermint tea. So I keep a little bit of food in here, a couple of packages of dehydrated camping food. Let's say, what's here? What do I got in here? Along with all the cookware, there's also a mountain stove in here. Runs on naphtha. So I've got the Mountain House food packages like this in here. I've got 2 or 3. And I've got a few more in another box that's in my sled normally as well, along with some other foods. $159, $160, $60, $160. One was $168. No, the spigot works well. It was 170 Fahrenheit when I measured it a few moments ago. If you were wondering whether the shells are hot to the touch or not, they aren't. They're not hot to the touch. That's cool. Same with the handle on the water tank. I wouldn't touch the water tank though. Just put another nice piece of wood in the stove. Hopefully you can hear the wood crackling. Nice sound, quite relaxing. So I just emptied the water tank and refilled it. So that is the second time now that I'll be making water in it. And I'll be doing that 2 more times and then draining it through the spigot as per the recommendation by Winnerwell. You're not supposed to create a large fire in the stove during its initial burn-in. So that's why I'm not stuffing that stove full of wood. I just got a nice steady fire going in there to break in this stove, so not to warp anything too significantly, because there is a little bit of warping that goes on, and I've noticed that it's gone back to its normal shape now. There was a little bit of warping on the side. You might be able to see a little bit of it there, maybe not, but it's nothing like it was initially, and it's all back into its proper shape. Anyways, the fire's burning nicely in there. Got that water tank with the second fill. Now the coffee pot is starting to boil. I can see steam coming out. Yeah, slowly but surely. Very little smoke coming out the top. And apparently that secondary combustion chamber, that's one of the benefits of that that chamber, the combustion chamber, is that it does reduce the smoke because it burns, the whole stove burns cleaner. That heat, oh, that is nice coming off that combustion chamber, and I mean the stove itself, of course. Well, initial break-in burn is going well. I decided to put the water tank on top of the stove to see how fast it'll boil, whereas the other two times I've had it mounted on the side. The side is really meant to simply keep the water nice and warm at a steady temperature. Well, it's getting dark now. Stove's been burning for a little over 2 hours. Really good break-in burn for the stove, and that's what today was all about. Um, I hope you found the tour of the stove interesting and that I provided some useful information for you, especially on some of the accessories such as the Winnerwell water tank and the secondary combustion chamber that's here. Also at the start of the video, I showed you the triple wall heat protector chimney that I had. And I'll do a follow-up video once I have my Otter tent set up and get that flashing kit installed on the tent, and then I'll be using that triple wall heat protector chimney, which will be about here, I guess, when that's installed. All right, well, thanks very much for watching my inaugural Shooters Inc. and the Outdoors video on the Winnerwell Nomad stove.